Welcome to Signature TV News. I am Barry Kumo Ado. In the headlines, Governor Soludo sacks the 21 Transition Committee chairman in the state. Benin monarch takes delivery of more artifacts brought back to the country. Army in the Democratic Republic of Congo foils military coup. And in sports, Man City records outstanding feats by lifting fourth Premiership title. Details shortly. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has sent all the chairmen of the 21 local government areas packing. A letter to that effect, signed by the Commissioner for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Community Affairs, Mr. Tony Collins Wambunwane, directed the chairmen to hand over the affairs of their local governments to the head of local government administration, latest on Monday, the 20th of May. The directive, according to the letter, follows the expiration of their tenure as a transition committee chairman of their respective local government councils. Soludo recently asked the All Progressive Grand Alliance ABGA stakeholders to nominate candidates to fill the position of transition committees in the 21 local government areas. The governor directed that the nominees should be 3 in each council area and must include at least a woman. This may be a pointer that the government is not yet disposed to the conduct of local government elections, which has remained a big issue in the state for many years. The Nigerian government says the successful adoption of compressed natural gas in vehicles can reduce a high rate of inflation in the country. The program director of a presidential initiative on compressed natural gas, Michael Oluwagbemi, disclosed this during a one-day stakeholders engagement in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Oluwagbemi said Nigerians can realize between 40 to 50% savings spent on the purchase of petrol if they convert to the CNG-powered vehicles. According to him, CNG is 18 times safer than petrol and diesel and much cleaner for the environment. He added that Nigeria will save about $2.5 billion by converting every 1 million vehicles to CNG. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had recently directed all federal government ministries, departments and agencies to procure CNG buses for their organizations. The Benin monarch has received yet another set of artifacts returned from Germany in 2022. The artifacts were handed over to the monarch by the newly appointed Director General of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, Olubile Holloway.
For the past few years, the Benin monarch Ukwa-Akpolokpolo Bewari II and other stakeholders have continued to create awareness on the whereabouts of some artifacts taken away during the invasion of the kingdom in 1887. The efforts are paying off, going by the number of artifacts that have been returned to the kingdom. Some of the artifacts which were originally handed down to the federal government were returned to Benin on Saturday by the Director General of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments. There are 2 wooden and bronze tools used by Obai Resoyen and Obai Sijie. The Director General says there are more to come.
And now, as the bronzes are slowly making their way home, it is only right that NCMM joins hands with the Royal Court to create a befitting destination for people around the world to come and appreciate these masterful works of art. And I assure you, I give you my word, in my position as DG, we will always do what we can within our power to make His Royal Majesty's life much easier than perhaps we have done.
Only recently, the Swedish government resolved to return 39 pieces of Benin artifacts in her museum to the custody of Omonoba Nedo Ukwa-Akpolokpolo. The Swedish ambassador to Nigeria, Annika Han Englund, conveyed the Swedish government's decision when she paid a courtesy visit to Oba of Benin Palace in Benin City, Edo State. Ambassador Han Englund informed the royal father that Nigeria remains her country's second largest market in sub-Saharan Africa in areas of infrastructure, telecommunication, energy, and other businesses that supported both economies significantly.
I would like to mention the decision by the Swedish government to return 39 artifacts. As you obviously know, Sweden and Nigeria are great trading partners. As a matter of fact, for Sweden, Nigeria is our second biggest market in sub-Saharan Africa, and we have many Swedish companies present here in Nigeria, up to 40, especially when it comes to infrastructure, telecommunication.
Obewari II, on behalf of Edo people, welcomed the decision and expressed his deepest gratitude to the Swedish government for the intervention. The Benin monarch recalled how he made a request through the Swedish monarch in 1998 to return Benin bronzes in Sweden during his courtesy visit to him as Nigerian ambassador to Scandinavian countries.
We express our deepest gratitude to the Swedish government for deeming it fit to finally approve the return of these artifacts. But by the grace of God, there are solid plans to build the Benin Royal Museum. The federal government is backing it as well.
To underscore the significance of the historic visit to the palace, the ambassador, in the company of her husband and a member of the diplomatic mission, presented a souvenir to Obewari II, who in turn gave a copy of the federal government gazette on all Benin artifacts to the envoy in appreciation.
About 386 people, mostly women and children, have been rescued by the army in Sambisa forest 10 years after their abduction. The acting general officer commanding 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General AGL Haruna, made this known while speaking to newsmen at the outskirts of Sambisa forest in Konduga local government area. Haruna said a 10-day operation tagged Operation Desert Sanity was to clear Sambisa forest of the remnants of all categories of terrorists, as well as provide some of them who are eager to surrender the opportunity to do so. The GOC, who addressed the troops on a message of a Chief of Army Staff, lauded their performance and professionalism which they exhibited during the operation and urged them to sustain the tempo. Troops from 21 Special Armored Brigade, 26 Task Force Brigade, and 199 Special Forces participated in the operation. ICP develops anti-sexual harassment policy for education institutions. Join us again for details and more. Welcome back. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it has handed over $20,000 recovered from a convicted internet fraudster, Hakeem Olanrewaju, to the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI. In a statement, the EFCC spokesperson, Dele Olaiwale, said the money was handed over to the FBI in Lagos State on Friday, stating that the Commission is willing and always ready to do more. At the event, FBI's legal attaché, Charles Smith, commended the EFCC for working collaboratively with the FBI, which he said could lead to greater recoveries of this nature. Smith said such crimes cripples businesses in the U.S., and for them to recover the money within 1 to 2 years gives hope to the affected companies and brings some level of justice, even if not all subjects have been identified. Justice Nicholas Owebo of the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos had on August 15, 2023, ordered that the recovered money from Olanrewaju, who was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for identity theft and impersonation, be returned to the victim in the U.S. The federal government has constituted the governing councils of the federal tertiary institutions in the country. This list of the constituted governing councils was released on Saturday by the Federal Ministry of Education. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, D.D. Esther Walton-Jack, who released a statement containing the list, stated that the inauguration and retreat of the councils would hold on May 30th and 31st, 2024, at the National Universities Commission, Abuja. The list contains names of technocrats, politicians, and traditional rulers for 50 universities, 37 polytechnics, and 24 colleges of education. A former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Atahiru Jega, former executive secretary of the National Universities Commission, NUC, Peter Okebukola, and a labor activist, Issa Aremu, are among the individuals appointed to lead the councils of various academic institutions. The immediate past executive secretary of NUC, Adamu Rashid, who resigned from office a few months into his second term in office, was also named to chair the governing council of the Federal University of Health Sciences, Otukpo, Benue State. The constitution of the governing councils is coming few days after the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, threatened to embark on a nationwide strike over the non-constitution of governing councils for universities months after they were dissolved. In June, the National Universities Commission, NUC, dissolved the governing councils of all federal universities after a directive from President Bola Tinubu, which ASU described as illegal, claiming that the move had paved the way for all manner of illegalities in the Nigerian university system. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, says it has developed a model anti-sexual harassment policy suitable for tertiary education institutions in the country. This was the outcome of a capacity building training organized for members of independent sexual harassment prohibition committees of tertiary education institutions in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, organized in conjunction with an Abuja-based non-governmental organization, Gender Mobile Initiative. The executive director of the Gender Mobile Initiative, Omowumi Ogunrotimi, said that the draft anti-sexual harassment policy was jointly designed with ICPC with support of development partners. She said that the draft policy, which had been approved by the Federal Ministry of Education, will fill the gap created by lack of credible and internal remedial mechanism for people facing sexual harassment challenges on campuses. An ICPC sexual harassment and abuse response mentor, Adenika Shogunle, said the rate of sexual harassment in tertiary education institutions was alarming. Shogunle observed that most institutions had enacted staff codes of conduct but do not have a specialized anti-sexual harassment policy, spelling out credible grievances, remedial procedures to embolden victims. DR Congo Army foils coup attempt. And in sports, Usyk beats Fury to emerge world heavyweight boxing champion. Details after the break. The army in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, says it has repelled an attempted coup d'etat. The army said Congolese and foreign fighters were involved in the coup, which was reportedly thwarted on Sunday morning. Sylvian Ekenge, the DRC Army spokesperson, spoke in a televised address on the state-run TV station. He said the foreigners and Congolese have been put out of action, including their leader. Ekenge said several suspects have been detained and the situation is now under control. The army spokesperson did not give further information about the incident. The statement comes hours after armed men attacked the house of Vital Kamerhe, former chief of staff and close ally of President Felix Tshisekedi. Kamerhe residence is about 2 kilometers from the presidential palace. The unrest in the country comes amid a dispute in the ruling party over the postponement of an election for the leadership of the country's National Assembly. President Tshisekedi, who was re-elected in December 2023, met with parliamentarians and party leaders on Friday in a bid to resolve the crisis. A volcano on the remote Indonesian island of Amaria has spectacularly erupted, spewing a greyish ash cloud into the sky, leading to the evacuation of people from 7 kilometers from 7 nearby villages. Authorities said on Sunday the eruption happened on Saturday evening, sending ash 4 kilometers high as streaks of purple lightning flashed around its crater. A statement from Adu Mohari of the Disaster Mitigation Agency said a joint team comprising police, military and search and rescue officials was dispatched to the area to evacuate residents from the surrounding villages. The agency did not provide any information about how many people had been moved, but authorities have recommended that a 7-kilometer radius be cleared. Indonesia's volcanology agency raised the alert level of a volcano to the highest level on Thursday after Ibu erupted multiple times earlier this month, following a series of eruptions of different volcanoes in Indonesia, which sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire and has 127 active volcanoes. Flooding caused by heavy rain overwhelmed parts of southern China Nahin City. State media reported the disaster on Sunday with footage carried by state broadcaster CCTV showing commuters navigating through flooded streets as police could be seen directing traffic. Nanin Meteorological Observatory warned of heavy flooding in some rivers in northern and eastern parts of Gongke. Water levels are expected to rise by around 2 to 8 meters in some parts by Monday. Authorities predict that frequent rainfall is expected to continue in the coming days across southern China. The Taliban has vowed to investigate the recent killing of 3 Spanish tourists by gunmen in Afghanistan's central Bayan province. Taliban Interior Ministry spokesman Abdul Mateen Koni said in a pre-recorded video statement that 4 foreign nationals and 3 Afghans were also injured in the Friday attack. He added that 7 suspects have already been arrested in connection with the attack. Mountainous Bayan is home to a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the remains of 2 giant Buddha statues which were blown by the Taliban during their previous rule in 2001. Since taking over Afghanistan in 2021, the Taliban have vowed to restore security and encourage a small but growing numbers of tourists trickling into the country and sell tickets to access the Buddha statues. Friday's attack was among the most serious targeting foreign citizens since foreign forces left and the Taliban took over in 2021. Volodymyr Zelensky's 5 years. Let me take that again, I beg your pardon. Volodymyr Zelensky marks 5 years in power as Ukraine's president, as the prospect of reaching a peace deal with Russia after more than 2 years of war remains uncertain. Zelensky, a comedian turned politician, was sworn in on May 20, 2019 in the country's parliament. Since Russia launched its large-scale invasion on February 24, 2022, Zelensky has become a well-known figure on the international stage, calling for support and more weapons to defend his country in war. Alexandra Usyk downed Tyson Fury by split decision early Sunday morning in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to become the undisputed heavyweight champion. Usyk had 2 judges on his side, earning scores of 114-113 and 115-112, while the 3rd judge gave victory to Fury 114-113. With the victory, Usyk cemented himself as the first undisputed heavyweight champion in nearly 25 years. Lennox Lewis was the last boxer to accomplish the feat, thanks to a win over Evander Holyfield in 1999. A native of Ukraine, Usyk took time after that fight to support his country. Meanwhile, Fury, an Englishman, attributed the loss to the war between Ukraine and Russia, stating that the judges took the side of Usyk supports into account. The rematch between the 2 boxers is set for October 12 in Riyadh. Manchester City on Sunday made history in the English Premiership by becoming the first club side to clinch 4 consecutive titles after defeating West Ham United 3-1 at the Etihad Stadium. Arsenal's dream of first Premiership crown in 21 years was dashed as their 2-1 victory over Everton was not good enough for them to lift the trophy. The Gunners therefore have to settle for the second position at the end of the season. That's the size of our package. Thanks for staying tuned.